Okay, my next update video. Let's get that out of the way. Okay. Well, there's been things that's been happening since last month. Last month on the 30th, I had my blood work done. Then earlier this month, I got the test results back. They were saying that everything, it was my iron levels are normal, my testosterone's normal at 14, but my estrogen was high at 1,272. Yeah, but the thing is, I took my estrogen the morning of having the blood work done, and if you do that, it will come back high. Because what I've recently learned is you're supposed to have the blood work done the week of, so it doesn't come back as high, because initially you needed the estrogen that high to get the physical changes. So yeah, so they wanted me to drop my dose from 0.4 ml to 0.3, but when I did that, I started having issues. Within a few days, my weight dropped dramatically. Like last year when my progesterone was too low and that happened, it was affecting my dysphoria. My waist went down 1/2 inch. My breasts went down 1/2 inch. It was causing a lot of dysphoria. I physically was not feeling good at all. And so, when I sent them a message about what was going on, they just told me to continue taking the 0.4 ml then in 3 months get everything checked. So since taking the 0.4 ml, my weights, it took a while, but what happened that morning when I was having all the issues, I ate breakfast, then my waist went up 1/2 inch, my breast went up 1/2 inch, which was weird. So when I started taking the 0.4 ml again, it took slowly the rest of the month to get my weight back to around 122 pounds, and it was weird. My breasts started growing again, but then they kind of went back down to the inch mark. But the weird thing is my waist went back down 1/2 inch. So I'm like, that's strange. My waist is 28 inches. And it used to be 28.5. Now it's 28. And my breasts, since doing the breast enhancement pumps twice a day, except the first day, since the first day I only did once. It was back last year, July 29th is when I started, and my breasts are permanently up in size 1/2 inch, so my breasts are 39 inches permanently, which I was so close to being 39.5, but then they just went back down for some reason. And I'm thinking, because during this last month I noticed, even though I'm taking progesterone in a suppository route every single night before I go to bed, instead of 10 days a month, because if you take it 10 days a month, it's like a female hormone cycle when you take it cyclically. But it's weird because I'm taking it every night when I go to bed. So my body has been acting as a female hormone cycle, like it's going cyclically, I noticed. So I think that's what's happened with my breasts, is when everything's up, then your breasts swell and do all that stuff during that time of the month, then it drops back down to its normal. I think that probably is part of it. So yeah, but then all that dysphoria I was having has gone back to its normalcy, because I was having really bad dysphoria that day. But it's gone back up where it's normal. So that's good. But this morning, just been, since actually yesterday, just my emotional state has dropped off, and I'm not sure why. You probably could hear it in my voice a little bit, but it kind of sucks. So, and last month, on the 30th, I was put back on bicalutamide because of the body hair issues I was having. But then I started having increased spontaneous orgasms. So, it was my first electrolysis appointment this month. I decided to stop taking bicalutamide that day because I didn't want spontaneous orgasms while having the electrolysis done. Plus, it's not doing anything for my testosterone because I'm taking micronized progesterone, 200 milligrams every night when I go to bed in the suppository route, and 0.4 ml of the estrogen injections once a week, usually on a Wednesday. And it's lowered my testosterone to I don't have to have any testosterone blockers or anything. Because originally I went off back in September 18th because too low testosterone, but my testosterone's back to in the normal female range. So yeah. So I stopped taking it. And I feel better not taking it. And just having my hormones where it's at. Then I've noticed something weird. My underarms hair, it came back. But then it started growing really slow again. I only found, since I shaved my underarms last, there was like only one hair I've come across. And I've noticed my leg hair has been doing weird things. Like I'm losing leg hair, but at the same time, there's spots where I've gained, but the hair itself is really thin instead of like in the middle range where it would be thicker. And it's like the upper legs I gained hair where I didn't have hair. And my facial hair is like through the jawline, through here, and some down here and up through here has gained some hair that wasn't really permanently gone. It's come back from all that laser I've had done. And I found one hair right up here next to my nose. Just one. I was like, what? I'm not sure what happened to the hair that was right here, but right in the middle right here, there was one hair. So I'm like, okay. So right now I can't get my facial hair treated because they have to have down there prioritized for surgery. So yeah. So that's pretty much what's been going on. And being back on the normal dose, I know instantly my body started going through a few more changes. My face filled in, has become fuller, I can say that. My butt felt like it was increasing a little bit. Then my breasts a little bit. Until it kind of like went down to the 1/2 inch mark. But it's doing the best I can with all the things that's been going on this last month. It's just kind of irritating. And my electrolysis is going really well down there. The top is almost completed. It's just the right side has more hair on it than the left side and around that new hairline. So I just need all that evened out. Like need the right side evened out with the left side. And just the random hairs that's still there and along the new hairline. Then finish getting the bottom half, which is from the pretty much scrotal tissue down to the perineum. Just that whole area, just right above the scrotal tissue and the scrotal tissue and perineum is where I need most of the work done to finish everything off. So, yeah, I'm just, well, the last time I went, no, the first time I went this month, it was because how much less hair there is. Like, you can cover more area with the treatments, so it takes less time. The further you go consistently every week, and the less hair there is that comes back, the faster you can get the whole thing treated, because you can get more area treated. But I got to a certain point where I couldn't go anymore, or I couldn't handle it anymore, I should say, because I couldn't get any more numbing, so she had to stop. I reached my limit, so there's half hour left. I could have had the rest of it cleared, but I had to come back a second day, like the next week, and just had the rest of it treated. And she was saying it was good news. I only had to do an hour because what was left to be treated. And with all things good, I didn't have, she's saying, you don't have to come back for a month. And I've been noticing, not since my last treatment, more hair has come in. Because there was hairs where I was like, I couldn't tell if there was hair or if there wasn't. But what's left is actually more of it's coming in. Because you have to have a certain length so they can tweeze it much easier after the electrolysis. So it'll be about the 9th of next month. Then we'll go from there. And yesterday I had an appointment to get my eyes checked. Everything's good. They paid for the extra tests to have everything done so they can check the depth and check actually the image of the eyes to see everything, see if there's any diseases or anything, and everything's all good and healthy. It's just my right eye. There's just had a slight adjustment to the prescription just so I could see better out of that eye. Because they're saying this eye is worse than this eye. But the thing is, this one had to be adjusted. I'll be able to see better out of that eye. Yeah, so, but my vision hasn't gotten worse. So, yeah. My old video where I got this pair of glasses and my other pair, where I did that video, they were saying my vision got worse during that time, back in 2012, January. But this time, everything's good. So the hormones aren't doing any damage or anything to that. So that's good. And surgery is, it's weird because I don't want to continue waiting until July 26th to have my surgery. I'm just kind of fed up with, because I was having dysphoria about down there. And a little bit with my facial hair, which I never had that happen with facial hair before, but down there, I'm not really liking my genitalia right now. It's just something I'm dealing with, and it's really hard right now. Because I've just been really doing the best I can. Trying to get through all this. And it's just been really hard lately, having to wait. Especially with my emotional state when it keeps doing this. And I think part of it is the weather, because not having enough sun can affect your mood. Yeah. So, I've just been having just thoughts and feelings about surgery. So, which it's mostly lately been falling asleep and just waking up with the correct genitalia. Because I'm getting the full surgery, the vulvoplasty and vaginoplasty. From what I've heard, vaginoplasty is the same thing as vulvoplasty, But if you just get vulvoplasty, you don't get the vaginal canal. But if you get vaginoplasty, it's the vaginal canal and everything else. The labia minora, labia majora, clitoris and the clitoral hood, and the female urethra, the correct length. So yeah. Even though it's weird how I want the surgery, like I've mentioned in the past, the tip of my penis looks like an upside down vulva, or looks like where it has the vaginal cavity, the urethra, which I don't know why I have that second hole, because usually male genitalia doesn't have 2 holes, but mine does. Plus, it looks like labia minora and labia majora and the clitoral hood and the little clitoris upside down. So it's like, if you turn it right side up and make it even and proportionate to how that looks, where how the inner labias are a little more prominent, because that's how the tip of my penis looks. And I was like, well, if that's how the tip looks and it's developed that way, and it looks like the vulva that way, I'm like, well then physically I should have a vulva that looks like that. So at my pre-op appointment, I'm going to tell them I want it like that. So, plus the functionality, being able to have like the female version of like erection, the internal erectile tissue and the clitoris becoming erect, and the vaginal cavity becoming like that wetness sexually and non-sexually, and the wetness and lubrication and all that, sexually, non-sexually. That's pretty much how I want it. I would be happy to have it like that. So I'm just not sure what my vaginal depth is going to be, because the hormones have shrunk it, because it used to be 7 inches long, and erect, I could say. Now it's more like 4.5-ish inches long erect. Plus unerect, it's about 3 inches. 2 to 3 inches. So, yeah. So I'm not quite sure on that. But when it's coming to the surgery, I'm like, well, each day is like, that's 1 day closer to surgery. 1 day closer. Which I'm not having like those thoughts like I was, having those worries about falling asleep beforehand, before the surgery, that time it takes to fall asleep. I'm not having that worry right now. It's just more of actually the waiting and the aftercare and all that. So that's pretty much what's on my mind. Besides dating and relationships and whatnot, and all those issues I've had or I've mentioned in the past, where men keep trying to hit on me, or in a chat site after I tell them I'm trans, pre-op, having surgery later this year, and I'm only want females, cisgender or trans, and they still want to go sexual. And those are the kind of issues I'm dealing with. Plus, I've been becoming more attracted to non-binary, where their body is physically female. So that's pretty much with the fluid part of my sexuality, what's going on, and just how sexually, non-sexually I'm wanting it. And I just don't want to be with men. And I'm just having that kind of issue lately, so nothing I can really do about that. And just deal with the situation as it comes. So until my next video, please comment, rate, and subscribe. And I'll see me in the next video. So until then, shh.